game for Essendon here and make it really difficult for Sydney.
If I'm Hurdy, I'm just not getting too technical. I'm saying to that group, looking them in the eye, saying, if you give me the same commitment for the next 30 minutes that you have for the last 3 quarters, I guarantee you'll be rewarded at the end of the game.
Final term underway. We could see a little bit of history unfolding here. Parker bangs it inside 50, and that's been the story.
Again, he didn't need to do that. He had time and space, and he juggled it and kicked it out of mid-air thinking he was about to be tackled.
We haven't spoke much about Carl Hooker all day, but he's done a fantastic job on the ruckman, Pike, and Kurt Tippett, who's more of a recognised forward. He's only had 1 goal kicked on him.
What I've liked about both Hooker and Hurley is they're not afraid to take front position away from the forward and back themselves and attack the footy rather than worrying too much about your opponent.
Rain starting to pump down again here. Collier to half forward just over Kearney, and Reid takes the mark. Can the Swans get back? Well, their home ground.
The rain's certainly not going to help them, Dwayne, but they've got to take risks. They've got to use the corridor at every opportunity. They've got to try and hit up some leads and play on as quickly as possible.
Rowan heads wide. Franklin's his target, and he gets there.
Just didn't stick, and he was a little bit sore when he went down there, I reckon. Just see him grimacing. He landed heavily on the shoulder, but he kept leading. He keeps attacking the ball. That's all he can do. It's a good contest. Hurley's right there.
And what you said, Jace, before about the Essendon defenders taking front spot, it's a wet ball too, so it will drop short.
Kennedy trying to break free. Watson trying to inspire them again, the captain. To the wing, and it bounces out.
But it does take great courage from a defender to stand in front of the likes of a Buddy Franklin, because, boy, if that ball gets over the top and over the back, it's going to be an instant goal.
Every minute that ticks down now, super important for the momentum to start this season for these two teams. Swans, of course, coming off a 10-goal humiliation in the grand final. Rowan takes off. No one in the square. Franklin held. Franklin's ball. It'll get goal anyway. Advantage and a goal.
That's going the other way.
Other way, boys.
It's going to Hurley.
Against Franklin.
This is amazing.
We'll need to see that one again. They were both hanging on there. It was almost like watching a waltz. They were holding each other and turning around in circles, but who initiated it, it doesn't really matter. It's who gets caught. It's who the umpire sees as infringing.
Long ball towards the wing. Everybody trying to work that out, catch their breath, trying to come up with an answer as to why the Swans have had no luck whatsoever all day. Franklin up, got it, bang, gone, down.
He's in trouble.
He's caught, rolling around the body towards goal, and he misses.
On the ground
Someone's out.
He's still down.
I think it's Luke Parker, boys.
He's still down.
He's been knocked out.
He was prone there.
Speaking of no luck,
that'll be the end of the day for Luke Parker, and that's a sign of his courage. He just attacks the footy all the time, eyes on the ball, and both players were committed. It's just unfortunate the two teammates have got eyes on the footy.
Have a look at that.
He's gone down heavily and got the second whack when his head hit the deck, Luke Parker.
Buddy's in the footy record at 107 kilos, so it's a fair bit of weight coming through there.
That's a wrecking ball, isn't it, Brownie? Look, and unfortunately, they've used their sub as well. We know Lloyd's come on for Adam Good, so they're going to be one down now as far as substitutes go.
Yep.
Isn't he a bull, Luke Parker?
He's a star.
He's single-handedly tried to get him back 36 possessions he's had, but God, he's courageous.
For me, he's the single most improved player in the competition the last years. He's gone from good, honest try to superstar, culminating in that best and fairest last year. But he's out. He's finished for the day. He looks very, very
blood out
dry.
of the mouth as well, which is always troubling. I've had a little bit of experience with these head injuries, and sometimes it can be a sign of a little crack in the jaw. So let's hope he hasn't got a crack there.
I think at one stage they thought about naming the concussion policy the Jonathan Brown rule, didn't they, Dwayne? Such was the number of times he'd been KO'd. But
you started it with that horrendous helmet you wore years ago.
The good thing is
he's moving.
We have got some of the best people versed in these areas. The medical staff at the footy clubs are the best people to assess and to treat these players and to take every possible precaution to make sure they're okay.
Pretty sure Brownie had his own cart and stretcher there for a while, named after him, didn't you, Brownie?
They put his number on the buggy that drives the stretcher out.
So how many plates have you still got, Brown?
I've got 15 plates in your face, so, and usually, unfortunately, a sign if there's blood in your mouth, it's either you've lost a tooth or there's a crack in your mouth somewhere or in your jaw. So we don't want to be alarmists and don't want to jump to conclusions. I'm certainly not a doctor, but that's the advice I've been given over the years.
Look, he's up and moving, and he's standing up. He's probably going to walk off unassisted. He's going to get up and climb onto the buggy, which is great. But he certainly won't be taking any further part. He's a courageous young man, that fellow.
He's one of the more courageous in the competition. Best and fairest winner last year. He's been the best player over the NAB Challenge. If he misses weeks here, on the form of Sydney today, that'll be a huge loss.
He's had 36 touches, Luke Parker. That's a personal best for him. And it's also 13 more than the next best on the ground.
He can hold his head up high.
Let's hope it's just a mild concussion and nothing more. And hopefully he'll be okay as soon as possible and playing next week. Did you say 15 plates in your face?
I do, 15 plates. And
hasn't helped, has it?
It has. The makeup girl ran out of makeup before we went on here.
Play back underway. Hurley towards the wing. Dyson Happel, that could be on the full. It is.
And John Longmire might be making mention of Luke Parker's attack on the footing. So this is what we need from the rest of us.
Free kick. Blocked to Franklin's ball. Can they get a break or two here, Sydney?
Well, this certainly wasn't Michael Hurley's fault. I'm wondering who it was that came in and took Franklin out, because I think Hurley's the one that ended up marking the ball. He can't believe it. He goes, it wasn't me. He's looking at the screen for a replay.
Hard to tell. Both forward and defender are usually always hanging on to each other in those contests.
Franklin drives it long. It's a goal. That could be the fire starter for the Swans.
He's played a superb game, Michael Hurley, and we saw him drop a chest mark at the other end, which ended up in a Franklin goal. And now he's taken the mark here. He's just... How is that a block out?
Yeah, no, that was a poor decision.
The umpire paid a shepherd. He said blocking at the contest. He's won a contested mark.
We did see earlier as well, about 5 minutes earlier, Jace, where Hurley earned the free kick, and it looked like it was Franklin. So the umpire might have been squaring up. Look at this run up, Jace. Doesn't go out as far as he used to.
Yeah, that's the new rule, I think, but the trouble with that is that's the wrong interpretation of it. You can actually use your body if you're going for the mark, and you do mark it. And
he did that, so you can understand why he's a little perplexed.
Yeah, that's a free if you don't actually go for the mark.
But I do like the way Franklin's kicking it. He certainly has straightened that run up, particularly when he's close to the goal.
Yes.
And it looks so much better.
It just lowers the percentage when you go right out, doesn't it?
27 points the margin. It was 40. The Swans, last year's grand finalist, fighting here at home against an Essendon team that has had very limited preparation.
Chappie's just gone and pushed.
He has, Laidler.
Laidler over. I don't know what's going on. Well, Chappie's throwing one at Pikey as well. He's angry.
Long kick forward, tip at the target. Ball clean to the back. Hurley's there, Franklin's there, boundary line's there.
Chapman's still going at Laidler. He wants to go on with it, Chappie.
They know each other from Geelong.
Yes. But he must have seen something in the contest there that he didn't like, because he had to go at a couple of them, and he wants to go at it.
It's pretty fiery too, isn't he, Moons, Chappie? We've seen over the years.
It doesn't take him much, Brownie, for the switch to flick on him. Let me tell you.
Collier tries a knock on Jetta. Sidestep outside of the boot. Goal square. Thump towards the line. Through for a behind. Down to 26 points. A lot of time left.
Certainly hasn't. The conditions haven't played into Lewis Jetta's hands today. He had 12 possessions.
Danaher, Richards, Bell Chambers all up. Good attack, Melksham. Fantastic attack by the captain, Jack. Pike, a roller. Clean bowls a couple. Tipper. They're in this.
Go out, nothing.
Sensational, the big fellow on his left. Can't say we've seen Kurt Tippett kick a lot of goals like that over the journey, Jace.
Showed good dexterity, good flexibility just to pick it up and snap it on the left foot. So you see, what I liked here was they got the ball back. See the punch from Pike, got it back into the corridor. So you put it in a dangerous position, and then it's just a matter of keeping the ball alive. Look at this grab, clean grab, and a good snap.
They have halved the margin in the last 15 minutes, from 40 down to 20, and we've still got more than 15 left in this contest. Howlett tries to break free. They're inspired now, the Swans. Laidler, he's inspired. He's been ruffled. Hanbury long. Franklin, not quite. Drags it in, caught, throws it out. And that could be 50 against Lloyd.
He's going to get the benefit of the doubt.
So what they've done now, they've put Brendan Goddard back in defence as a loose man. Sydney have straight away gone and manned him up. So Sydney are now playing with a 7-man forward line.
It's a smart option, Brad. I mean, they're winning the contested ball at the moment this quarter, and even the clearance is 5-1 this quarter. So they're playing the Sydney of old at the moment, one-on-one, really tight game.
Swans have won the last 4 games against Essendon. Beat them both times last year. Off hands, Shaw, and the crowd starting to get into it. On the full, free kick.
He did the hard work too, Reece Shaw. Won the ball, spoiled it, picked up the loose one, just couldn't keep the ball in play.
Played twice last year, round 9. Swans by 9 goals. Franklin kicked 5 of them. In round 19, without Franklin, still beat the Bombers to the Swans.
I tell you what, he's had a big record against the Bombers over the years too, Dwayne.
And make no mistake, if they kick 1 or 2 more, they get very nervous, the Bombers. Because everyone's expected the Swans to come at them, and it hasn't looked like it. But now they've got themselves within touching distance, and this is after Moon's declared them dead and buried at 3/4 time.
And the Bombers, a few of the Bombers themselves will not know if they've got the condition in them. They have not played any NAB challenge. That was their choice. They elected not to take the chance, but they won't know. This is their biggest contest of the year.
You nervous, Moons?
You've just made me a little bit nervous.
Pike from the slap down.
All of a sudden, the crowd's come into the game a little bit.
And they've got it away. Bird keeps it low. Franklin got there late. Carlisle can't mark it. Tippett shrugs one. Bumped on the kick. Free kick, Essendon.
So what they've got to be very, very careful of, Sydney now. They're winning a little bit of ball, but you've got to kick it to one-on-ones. You've got to keep the ball away from the spare in defence. That time, Carlisle, the kick virtually came straight to him.
Well, that's right. They'll keep trying to man up that spare now. Sydney will be happy even if they have to play an 8-man forward line. They don't want any loose guys around the contest, especially not Brendan Goddard, who we know used the ball so well.
So 7 inside 50s to 0 in favour of Sydney in the 4th term. This is where the game's being played at the moment.
Now Carlisle's behind the footy. Mike Pike's pushed forward.
Apple gets it out. Stanton caught.
Sorry, Laidler.
Howlett breaks free. Dyson Heppel caught. Oh, the old 1-2-3 works beautifully. Ambrose to Howlett.
Got to keep running. They've got numbers here. Just keep running.
Can they steal one against the run of play here? Long kick, full forward. Numbers down there. Little spill. Cooney couldn't wrap it up. Smith. Straight through Jack. Goddard should get there. Bagley sends it back long in hope. Swans have the numbers. It's on the full anyway.
At least it's out of bounds, though, in the Essendon forward line. So Sydney.
Should have taken that, shouldn't he?
Yeah, he should have. Be disappointed with that. It's pretty slippery out there now, though.
He at least has played NAB challenge. Long to the wing. Hooker's down there. Pike is down there. And they'll reset from the ball in. 14 minutes left. 20 points to margin, and the margin was 40.
This is good for Essendon. They want to keep it as close to the boundary as they possibly can. Get it out of bounds, reset, get your breath back. They'll be starting to fatigue now with no games under their belt in the pre-season.
Last year's grand finalist up off the canvas. Reid to Kennedy, caught. Good attack from Bird, no free. Crowd 1-on-1.
He tried to release a teammate in Josh Kennedy there, Sam Reid, but he would have been better throwing it on the boot himself.
This is exactly what Sydney want at the moment. There's 7-2 clearances this quarter. If you're Essendon, you need to come up and stuck up these stoppages so they don't get anything free.
Yeah, you're right, Moons. What Sydney have done is they've put less numbers at the stoppage and tried to make it man-on-man so there's more space around it.
Yep. And here is the space. Jetta's about to use it. Isaac Heaney, the 18-year-old. He's got Towers long. He ignores him, goes for Franklin, missed him. Hibbert.
He's inexperienced, but that's a really, really bad kick. He had to keep it away from the loose Essendon players, or he just had to give a contest to one of his forwards, and he didn't create that opportunity.
Merritt. Danaher.
Well done by Danaher.
He's done that a few times, just punched it and gained another 15 metres and found the boundary.
Smart. Just get it to the boundary. Reset now.
Everybody takes a breath, and boy, are the Bombers players sucking them in now.
And they will. They'll try and get some space here, Sydney. Get some movement through the stoppage.
Pike.
Belted forward.
Stolen by Melksham. Stripped by a boot. Heaney, good pick up on the move. Couldn't get away with it though. Ball thrown out to Chapman. Fletcher. Richards. Danaher. And we're inside 13 minutes. Just keeps on keeping on, Teddy Richards.
They've just got the game back in their control a little bit here, Essendon. They've just been very smart around these stoppages, finally winning a couple of these stoppages, which has been the main thing for them.
Canterbury caught high.
Yeah, and if you're Essendon, you're
Heaney caught high as well.
happy to burn time off the clock at every opportunity.
Franklin, Hurley in front, got a fist on it.
Well done again.
Laidler, nice collect. Rowan, Bird, Laidler, kicks it forward in hope, bounces poorly for Franklin, kindly for Hurley.
Geez, they've lacked composure, Sydney, going forward today.
Hooker back to Hurley.
They have rushed.
Oh, he's launched the talk.
And it'll work. Watson's under it, nearly got it. Isaac Heaney, arms free, tackled, couldn't find a teammate with it. Melksham flicks it up. Sydney's ball on the wing, 12 minutes left.
They're coming. They are coming, the Swans. They're just going to keep their composure, the Bombers.
Wide ball, Franklin the target, he's in front. Ball to the back. Played that well, Hurley.
He still draws attention, and more often than not, the loose player is going to gravitate towards Franklin. Sometimes you just got to fake as though you're going there and then just kick to another one-on-one contest in the 50-metre arc.
They know that Buddy's the man that's going to win the game from. So Essendon defenders will get drawn to him.
Howler. Ambrose.
The boundary's a good result.
Richards knows it's a bad result. Tries to keep it alive, but to his detriment. Collier. Stops, props, looks. Bird, turnover. Bird hands it up. Long bomb. Tip it!
Great goal.
Baby, that's good.
And he's a good mark because he should have got a free kick to start with. He was retarded. He was held by Hooker in the first instance, but he was good enough to fight that off and then lunge and take the mark. A good kick here makes it real interesting.
And he throws the shin guard away again.
We saw him miss one from an easier position at this end in the second term. What have we got here?
Certainly the second half.
We've got a blood rule here. No? Yeah, there is a blood rule, is it?
Certainly the second half. The key forwards for Sydney have stood up. They've kicked some goals out of nothing. Had a couple of shots out of nothing. They haven't had a lot of the footy.
Oh, it's a head clash, Ambrose and Richards, and Ambrose has cut himself open.
Big kick, this one.
Well, the good thing about a blood rule is you get time to rest.
Yeah.
So if you're tired and you're worried and all those sorts of things, and the pressure of the moment, you can just relax, take a few deep breaths, think about your routine, and then get ready to execute.
He missed from a similar area on the ground a few minutes ago. This is probably a little bit tight angle, Dwayne.
Does make a difference. Hart right down to about 65, 70 beats a minute as opposed to 175. This is a massive kick. Everyone on the edge of their seats here, home. Swans fans right at home. We've got a classic finish coming up for your Saturday afternoon match of the round.
They've done everything they possibly can to ensure a win here, the Bombers, but the work is not over. They've got to find a way to still win contested possession, still get their share of the ball, maintain possession, hit some targets, play conservative, don't allow Sydney to play on when they get the ball. They've got to get back to that brand of defensive pressure they had in the first three quarters. At the moment, they're just finding a little bit more space, the Swans, and they've got a sniff of something.
He's had a pretty good quarter, Kurt Tippett. He's had 9 contested possessions and 8 disposals there, Jay. So that's a real good effort.
Advantage.
No need to tell you how big the clearances are now. Rampy gets up, flicks it long. Heaney with the flick out to space. Jetta tried to get and go, left it behind. Merritt to half forward. Grundy puts it to grass.
And went to ground.
Costly.
No one's in the goal square.
That is brilliant.
Run down tackle.
That is brilliant from Franklin.
Absolutely awesome.
He doesn't give up, buddy.
Franklin wide. Rowan flies, ball out of play. That was the game over.
He read that from the middle of the ground, and he saw it was a 2-on-1, and he just accelerated. He went through the gears. Look at him. Just gather him in.
I don't think we talk about it enough about Buddy. Always rated his competitiveness. He never gives up. He's a big game player, we know, but he always tries hard for his team, no matter what situation.
That could be a massive tide turner. Jack hammers it inside 50. Reed's got a couple to beat. Ball hits the deck. Reed scrambles, flicks it out. Rowan, Jack, backed into a gang tackle. Got it down, Reed, flicks it up. Tippett, off the cover. Post. All the drama you could possibly think of.
That would have put the cat amongst the pigeons if he kicked that. Back within a couple of kicks.
Still a fair bit of time too. Nearly 10 minutes.
Now Dustin Fletcher will go long and he'll go wide.
Get to the boundary, boys. That's what the Essendon boys will be saying.
Danaher can't mark it. Cooney tries to scramble it away. Zaharakis caught, Shaw wraps him up, takes him down. Ben Howlett gang tackle. This is a different game. This is a different Swans.
Where was this intensity from Sydney in the first 3 quarters?
Or is it Essendon wearing out? Are they getting tired?
Look, they are starting to wear out a little bit, guys. I know with the early crowd, you can see them down here at the moment. They're getting their legs rubbed. They are pretty sore down here, but they haven't scored Essendon since the 19-minute mark of the 3rd quarter.
Swans have kicked the last 4 goals.
Really?
Had a big piece of that. Still a chance, though. Hurley kept it alive. Out of bounds, a win for Danaher. Sees it across.
Nearly on the full.
He almost hung on to that.
Yep.
Kurt Tippett just couldn't quite hang on to it all the way to the ground.
13 points the margin. It was 40.
All of a sudden, Kurt Tippett's posing as the major threat.
There's still more than 2 kicks from the lead. Bell Chambers.
Good ruck contest to win, and he gained 20-25 metres.
So now Sydney have almost got, I think they've got 8 forwards ahead of the ball. Just trying to man up on Essendon, trying to get a lot of loose men behind the contest. Obviously trying to save the game now. 13 points in front, 9 minutes to go.
Bell Chambers almost rucked all day single-handedly. Bird didn't strike it that well. Tippett having an impact. Slap away from Hooker. Watson still there for the run on. Watson. Heppel goes long. Chapman's got 2 to beat. Ball hits the deck. Richards wearing the helmet now. Got one to the ear earlier. Chapman tries to keep it alive. It's wide. It's high. And it's out on the full.
Right. You've got to cut off the change of direction here if you're Essendon.
A win for Essendon here is if Sydney kick it down
up the line. Yep.
Pike and Tippett both there. Tippett's up, rises, hands on a good flick out by Hooker.
He's close to marking everything that comes near him at the moment, Kurt Tippett.
I think he caught earlier, boys. They needed to go find another option other than Buddy. Everyone knew where it was going. All of a sudden, Tippett's just planting himself into this game.
I like how he's getting up there and supporting the ruckman in the aerial contest when the Sydney guys are coming out of defence.
Still raining, but it's like it's a dry ball at the moment. The handling's a lot better. Bird scrambles it. Fletcher. Danger. Oh, that was a win for Hooker.
Just all of a sudden, Essendon have looked a little bit fumbling. For 3 quarters, Sydney have fumbled. Essendon's been clean with the ball, but that's what pressure does to you, doesn't it, Jazz?
It certainly does, and they can feel it. There's no doubt about that.
And they had to jump early with their sub. Ben Howlett had to come on with Myers off after the opening minutes. So they've been down on rotations as well as being down on conditioning. Stanton caught. Melksham. Boundary line again was his option. Doesn't roll enough. Lloyd. Tippett's there. Knocks it down towards Towers. Did well. Hanbury, bang. Jack, the captain, sizes it up, bends it back. It's a 2-kick game.
Tell you what, they're bursting forward, Sydney, with energy.
They're creating opportunities, aren't they?
And that's what they say.
Oh, that's a free.
The message would be coming down from the coach box. Play on at all opportunities. Run forward at all opportunities.
That could be a massive turnover.
He's a long kick, Jeddah. You'd think he's going to...
Top of the goal square.
Hits the pocket. Carlisle.
Falcon?
Bird. Oh, it's bending.
A miracle goal.
No way. Never in your wildest dreams. There's a goal in it.
Brownie, what's happening out here?
Well, I'll tell you what.
Craig Burge just kicked a miracle goal. I'll tell you what he has done. And now there's only a kick in it. Have a look at this.
What a goal over the shoulder. What's happening? Essendon are getting really tired. They're trying to save the game. They're loading up. I think they've got nearly 9 players in Sydney's forward line blocking up the ball. It's not working. Sydney are just constantly sending men down into their forward line to make it a one-on-one contest, and then they're running forward at all opportunities to Sydney midfield.
They've got 8 men in their defensive 50, the Bombers.
High, Heppel's ball.
Now, what they've got to do is when they get the opportunity, attack and try and put score on the board. We saw it, if you remember the preliminary final last year, Hawthorn went super defensive when Port Adelaide were coming at them.
Yeah.
It's okay to be defensive and take all those defensive measures, but you've got to be able to hit the scoreboard when you get the opportunity. If that means you've got to keep some sort of attacking structure in place, well, then you've got to do that. Otherwise, you become far too predictable for the opposition, and then all the pressure will be on your defensive end.
And what's happening too around the footy is Sydney are dominating the contested possession this quarter, so Essendon can't get their hands on the ball to get composure with the ball and just kick it around to each other.
2 ruckman tie up. Heppel flicks it back. Danger zone. Smith. Bombers have the numbers.
It'll sit up.
Franklin beat the 2 of them to it. There's 1 kick in it. He drives it long. Goddard gets back.
It was a bad option.
The right option.
Oh! Jack, the steal, gets it back. This is to tie the scores. He can't mark it.
Super spoil.
Still a chance.
Fumbles everywhere.
Through Jenner's legs. Jack, their captain.
Kicked it.
It's all square. This is a freak show.
Wow. Who would have thought 15, 20 minutes ago when really for the first 3 quarters Sydney were insipid almost. Not insipid, that's probably too heavy a word, but had no composure around the contest. They've been fumbling all day. They've just come out, they're throwing caution to the wind. Been terrifically led by Kieran Jack, their captain.
How good was the spoil from Hooker?
All of a sudden, great spoil, but all of a sudden, Essendon are starting to fumble. Great leadership, Kieran Jack. Hats off to you, mate.
So now we go back to a normal structure. 6 forwards at each end. It's about playing attacking footy again. Go back to what they were doing early, the Bombers. That's what they've got to do.
Hard attack from players of both teams. It's been an amazing final term. Over 40 points up. Lloyd and Laidler's on the overlap. They could take the lead. Flicks it back to Jack. Great attack from Hibbert. Couldn't get it out. Lloyd keeps it running. They've got the fitness here. They're inspired right now. Hanbury long. Reed's down there. 1 grab, not the second. Hurley to Fletcher. That lands kindly.
See, the pressure's on, isn't it? They are tightening up the Bombers, but they've got to maintain their composure. Just got to not panic. I mean, when you've got space, use the space. Take the time to hit a target. Don't just throw it on the boot because you think you're under pressure.
Sydney haven't scored all day from a stoppage. Could this be the time?
Back into play.
First time today the crowd's been chanting.
Oh, Grundy.
See what it's taken its toll on Sydney too. There's a few tired Swans out there. This has been an enormous effort.
Difference is they've got Jake Lloyd who come off as a substitute. He's been fresh, whereas Essendon have had to use their sub very early.
Interesting to see James Hird down on the boundary line. Wants to get close to the players. Talk about composure.
It's a pity you can't come on. 5 minutes 21 left. They have not led today in this game, Sydney. And that's a little harsh. James Hird on the big screen getting booed. Ball knocked down. Goddard. Heppel. Ambrose. Collier. It doesn't stay in. Crowd. Suddenly there's 40,000 in here. That's what it feels like. Sure.
17-7, the inside 50s. Well, of course, that number's going to be like that when they've got 7 or 8 defenders, Essendon. They've got no one forward of the ball.
Oh, dangerous kick.
Rowan down the middle, trapped by Collier.
Really dangerous kick. Another fumble.
Picked his pocket. Jetta wants to run, couldn't get it and run. Collier caught, dumped. Lloyd bangs it forward. Franklin, Melksham.
Good courage by Melksham.
The crowd look at the scoreboard here. They think the siren is going to blow any second. They look at the scoreboard. There's 31 minutes gone because of the stretcher. We've still got 4.5 left. The players don't know how long left. The players need the runners to come out and tell them. Rowan through his hands. You want to win the game in this circumstance, but you certainly don't want to be the player that loses it.
Quite a few midfielders too not getting their hands on the footy this quarter for Essendon. Stans had nothing. Cooney 1. Hibbard 1. Melksham 2. Need more from them.
Heaney, their 18-year-old. Franklin, one-on-one. Hurley, Franklin, hooker. Bunks at somebody else's worry. Zaharakis stood under it. Rowan flicks it off. Couldn't quite strike it. Jetta waits for it. Tries to get it on the run. Ball comes up. Of all men, they're in front.
Oh, wow.
They've run out of legs. You can see it with the Bombers. And the Swans are now calling everyone behind the footy. Yeah. Even though there's still nearly 4 minutes left, there's plenty of time left in this game. But we're seeing more and more Sydney players push forward and find space because the Bombers don't have the legs to get all the numbers back. They've been running up and down the ground all day. And in the end, it's just wilting under the pressure.
You know, Buddy can hurt you there. He gets up around the stoppages, run back towards goal. They are definitely out of legs, the Bombers. And the message would have been by John Longmire at 3/4 time to Sydney, throw all caution to win. We're down by 20-odd points.
Well, from the outset, this would have been a miracle win if the Bombers got up. Right now, it will be one of the great wins of all time. If they could steal some points from this, there's still time. They don't know how long left. There's one kick in it, 6 points the margin. Zaharakis put his team under immense pressure. Hanbury stands his ground. Ball comes to Merritt. Collier with the back heel. Jack. Lloyd got it from Smith, bangs it long. Look. Umpire says deliberate.
Oh, come on. That came off the side of his
feet. He's been good, Lloyd, there.
Oh, he
take it back.
He has to start outside the boundary line. That was the issue.
Franklin and Tibbett have stood up in this last quarter. 4 goals between them.
Oh, that's a poor kick.
After a quiet day.
Rampy caught by Hurley.
Yeah, he's unlucky there, Hurley, because he couldn't see when the ball was released from the tackle. But they're going to get some numbers back, Sydney. There's a lot of players struggling to get back.
Just go to the big forwards, as you said. They've kicked 4 between them. It's been an even greater effort because their best player, and clearly their best player, Luke Parker, in this game, was knocked out early in the quarter.
Bomb to the square. Tippett's under it. Not the third grab.
Yeah, that was close.
Haven't they looked dangerous this quarter?
They're still alive, the Bombers. 6 points, the margin. Out of play inside 3 minutes to full time. A hush falls over ANZ Stadium. The crowd look at the scoreboard. 34 minutes gone. Heaney spins around the body. Gets it to the goal square. Tippett's there. Fletcher's there. Laidler takes it out.
Well, it'd be so disheartening for them now. The Bombers, they know it's going to have to be a big miracle here.
Well, they're only a goal out of it. It's one kick and they're back level.
But they've got no energy. Look at the movement here at the stoppage. There's no movement from the Essendon players.
They'd probably take a draw now. Bird around the body.
What they don't want
Laidler.
They don't want a point.
Kennedy. Oh, he kept that alive, Tippett. Could have put it through. Could have made it 7 points. Could almost have made it impossible.
Yeah, I'll take a point right now if I was Sydney.
Yeah. Even though you give the ball back to Essendon.
Keep an eye on Buddy here. Will he jump up and try and smash it through as the third up? Or someone else? Here it is, Laidler.
Cunningham. Tucked into the boundary. Pokes it up, and there's that.
It was out of bounds before he kicked it.
Who's writing this script? This has been phenomenal. If you join us late, Essendon led by 40 points. They've run out of condition, and last year's grand finalist has been overwhelming.
They need to pull players out, the Bombers, because Sydney have got 2 spare behind the football.
Zaharakis trapped it well, flicks it out. Heaney, the 18-year-old, to be the hero, the local product from the academy, and he may have sealed it.
Look at the elation of the Sydney players. They know that they've got out of jail here today. For 3 quarters, they were dominated by a more committed Essendon side, but unfortunately, I think the lack of match practice and losing Myers early and not having that fresh sub to come on has told the tale. They've run out of legs. They haven't scored since the 19-minute mark of the 3rd quarter, the Bombers, and it's really been all Sydney since then. But credit to the Swans. They had to find something when most of their players were playing well below normal levels.
From the ball up, still 2 minutes left. Towers, kick smothered, still fighting on. Watson dragged down, caught, throw it away.
Now they'll take their time. All of a sudden, that play on at every opportunity has gone out of the Swans game because they're happy to chew up the clock. Kick wide, try and maintain possession.
Canterbury. Sets it up long, Tippett.
Nearly took another.
He's looked very dangerous, Kurt Tippett, in the last quarter. He's playing the front spot. He's a very big man, we know. Put Dustin Fletcher to him now. He's had a lot of almost as well. He's almost taken 3 or 4 grabs in this last quarter as well as kicking a couple.
Ball knocked down. Heppel. The Bombers players probably know now. Hibbert, short. Kearney, who's been inspiring, back to Hibbert. Hooker sent forward. Richards. Fist wins out as always.
Sydney will just get as many numbers now down to the contest.
Sam Reid's behind the last line of defence. He's sitting back as a defensive sweeper. So they've got the tall down back for that long kick that comes in. You've got a couple others drifting down, filling up holes.
Goddard dumped after he tried to get it away. No free. Howlett, who had to come on early as the sub. Man down early with Myers' injury. Franklin.
Oh, well done
early.
Been a good contest, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
Jetta. And they didn't get that.
Play on, they haven't heard the call.
Not 15. He chips it. Bird can hold it.
I've liked the game at this point, Jake Lord.
So he's been good since he came on, hasn't he?
Yeah, and that's what you ask from a sub. You want him to come on in the last quarter and a half, and just provide a lot of run and energy, and that's something that Sydney lacked for the first 2.5, 3 quarters.
Tippett, Fletcher right on him. Close to the boundary. Kennedy. Seconds tick down. This has been phenomenal. They've come off the canvas to steal this one, the Swans, against all odds from 40 down. And John Longmire has stolen this one, reached into the fire and pulled something out. A phenomenal start to the season for the Swans and for the Bombers. As if these players haven't had enough to cope with. They face a script from hell.
Well, there's no doubt the Jeep Saturday Live on Fox delivers, and it's going to continue right now as we head up to the Gabba.